This is Trade Alive with IUX, where markets come alive and trading gets real. Let's go live.
This podcast is brought to you by IUX Trading Platform, elevating your trading experience.
Welcome back, everyone, to the IUX podcast, a part of Trade Alive, brought to you by IUX Education and IUX Trading Platform. We help you explore the lives, lessons, and legacies of the world's greatest traders. Let me paint a picture that I guarantee every single one of you has experienced. It's 4 p.m. The closing bell just rang. You've been staring at the charts for the last 6 hours. Your eyes are burning. Your adrenaline is slowly crashing, and you do the one thing every trader is conditioned to do the moment the day ends. You click over to your broker's terminal and you stare at your end-of-day account balance. If the number is green and larger than it was yesterday, your chest puffs out. You feel like a genius. You think, I have mastered the markets. If the number is red, your stomach drops. A wave of anxiety washes over you. You immediately start questioning your entire strategy, wondering if you are cut out for this business at all. I'm here to tell you a harsh reality. Tracking your performance by merely looking at your end-of-day account balance is the most outdated, ineffective, and psychologically destructive methodology in the modern financial markets. Why? Because your account balance is a lagging indicator. It tells you what happened, but it tells you absolutely nothing about why it happened. Imagine you're the CEO of a massive, multi-million-dollar logistics company. Would you run your entire global operation by just checking the company bank account once a day to see if there is more money in it? Of course not. You would demand a centralized control center. You would need real-time data, key performance indicators, shipping delays, fuel costs, and employee efficiency. Professional traders, the ones who survive decades in this game, treat their operations exactly like a systematic business, and every systematic business requires a dashboard. Today, we're moving away from relying on flawed human memory, cluttered chart indicators, and scattered messy spreadsheets. We're talking about consolidating your execution data and multi-time frame market trends into a single, low-latency visual interface. We're talking about building a custom trading journal dashboard. For those of you looking to elevate your analytical approach and treat your trading like a professional business, understanding how to build this custom dashboard is your very first step toward true data-driven consistency. A well-constructed dashboard does one vital, life-changing thing. It shifts your focus away from the toxic, emotional roller coaster of daily profit and loss. It forces you to look at the objective reality of your statistical expectancy. It tells you the unvarnished truth about your edge. So, grab a notepad. In this masterclass, we're going to break down the exact anatomy of a professional trading dashboard, the specific metrics you must track, and how to use this data to aggressively optimize your behavior. Constructing an effective dashboard is not about throwing every single piece of data onto a screen and hoping it makes sense. It requires ruthless curation. You must identify which metrics genuinely reflect your skill rather than your luck. The foundation of how to build a custom trading journal dashboard lies in a step-by-step categorization of data into 3 primary pillars: execution metrics, risk and psychological metrics, and strategy variables. Let's break these down one by one. Pillar 1, execution metrics, beyond the win rate. When amateurs build a spreadsheet, the first thing they track is their win rate. They want to know how often they're right. But as we've discussed before on Traders Lab, your win rate in isolation is a mathematically useless number. You can have a 90% win rate and still blow up your account if your losses are catastrophic. A professional dashboard goes much deeper. Your control center needs to automatically calculate and display your R multiple for every single trade. The R multiple represents your risk-to-reward outcome. If you risk $100 on a trade, that is 1R, and you make $300, you just logged a 3R trade. When you open your dashboard, you shouldn't just see dollars, you should see a column of R multiples. This standardizes your performance, allowing you to compare a $50 trade with a $5,000 trade on an even playing field. Next, you must track your profit factor and your overall system expectancy. But numbers on a spreadsheet can be dry. Your dashboard needs visualization. You need to visualize your equity curve right on top of your maximum drawdown percentage. Why is this visual so critical? Imagine looking at your dashboard and seeing a sharp 10% dip in your equity curve. If you also see that your historical maximum drawdown for this strategy is 15%, you instantly realize that this current losing streak is normal variance. It is just part of the business. You don't need to panic, and you don't need to change your strategy. Without that visual context, you might abandon a perfectly good system out of sheer terror. Furthermore, a top-tier dashboard integrates visual proof. You must be able to click on a trade log and instantly see chart screenshots of your exact entry and exit points. This allows for immediate visual verification. Did my execution actually match my trading plan, or did I jump the gun? Pillar 2, risk and psychological metrics, the behavioral guardrails. This is where your dashboard transitions from a simple calculator into an active psychological coach. Pillar 2 acts as your guardrails. Your dashboard should display your average risk per trade and your average trade duration. But crucially, and this is the secret weapon of the pros, you must incorporate emotional state tags. Every time you log a trade, your dashboard should require you to select an emotional tag from the drop-down menu. Were you experiencing FOMO, fear of missing out? Were you feeling overconfident after a winning streak? Were you feeling stress from an argument you had earlier that morning? Let's look at a powerful example. Imagine a trader named James. James reviews his custom dashboard at the end of the month. He filters his data by the emotional tag frustration. The dashboard instantly recalculates his metrics. The data reveals a terrifying truth. When James tags a trade with frustration, his average loss doesn't sit at his strict 1% risk threshold. His average loss balloons to 3.5%. The dashboard has just acted as an immediate behavioral warning system. It proves to James mathematically that his discipline collapses when he is frustrated. He breaks his rules, moves his stop losses, and bleeds capital. Now, James has an actionable goal. The next time he feels frustrated, he is not allowed to open his broker terminal. He has hard data proving that his emotional state is too expensive to trade through. Pillar 3, strategy variables, tagging your trades with deep contextual data to build interactive, dynamic visual reports. You need to record the long tail variables of your strategy. What time of day did you take the trade? What was the specific setup? Was it a trend continuation, a mean reversion, or a breakout? What was the asset class? By using dynamic data visualization tools, whether you're building this in Notion, using advanced Excel pivot tables, or paying for dedicated journaling software, you can filter your data to reveal hidden, highly profitable strengths. Let me give you another real-world scenario. Let's say you're a Forex trader. You feel like you're working incredibly hard, but your account is just hovering around break-even. You open your custom dashboard and generate a bar chart filtering your profitability by trading session. The visual is striking. The data objectively shows that during the European London session, your strategy has a massive, beautiful upward equity curve. You are highly profitable. But when the US New York session opens, your equity curve looks like a cliff. You consistently lose capital during the US session because the volatility profile changes and stops you out. Your dashboard just gave you the ultimate gift, clarity. It didn't just store your data, it translated raw numbers into a massive behavioral adjustment. Your new rule for next month, you only trade the London session and you turn your computer off before New York opens.
Instantly, you transform from a break-even trader into a highly profitable one, simply by cutting out the toxic environment. That is the power of a customized, data-driven control center. Ultimately, the goal of understanding how to build a custom trading journal dashboard boils down to two words: absolute accountability. As we've explored today, relying on your memory is a losing game. Human beings are incredibly gifted at lying to themselves. We remember our brilliant, massive winners with perfect clarity, and we conveniently suppress the memory of those sloppy, impulsive revenge trades that drained our accounts.
Moving away from outdated, anxiety-inducing end-of-day balance checks and transitioning to a centralized control center tracking execution, risk, and strategy variables, this is the exact dividing line that separates the professionals from the amateurs. A well-constructed dashboard acts as a cold, objective mirror. It ruthlessly removes the emotional bias, the soaring highs and the crushing lows of daily profit and loss that so frequently clouds a trader's self-assessment. By systematically tracking your execution accuracy, installing psychological guardrails like FOMO and stress tags, and deeply analyzing contextual market data, you achieve a massive transformation. You elevate your operation from a reactive, emotional guessing game into a proactive, data-managed business. And remember this: the best dashboard setup is not necessarily the most complex one. It's not the one filled with 10 different pages of cluttered, useless indicators. The best dashboard is the one that you actually use. It is the one that consistently highlights the unvarnished truth about your performance. When you build this system, you unlock the ability to translate raw numbers into actionable behavioral adjustments. You stop guessing what your edge is, and you start proving it. This enables the iterative, week-by-week improvements that guarantee your long-term statistical survival in these highly analytical financial markets. Before we wrap up this episode of Traders Lab, I want to leave you with a question, and I'd love for you to answer this in the comments below. If you were to build your custom dashboard today, what is the one psychological tag or emotion you know you need to start tracking immediately? Is it the urge to overtrade? Is it the hesitation to pull the trigger? Let us know. If this episode gave you valuable insight, you can click like, subscribe, follow, and share it with another trader who might need this reminder. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep your risk managed, trust your data, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
You've been listening to Trade Alive with IUX. Ready to put these insights into action? IUX is here to power your next winning trade.